Hello. What happens when you get a phone call from some KFC and fried chicken superfans? Well, it turns out to be a radio interview. A few weeks ago, while on vacation, I received a phone call from an unknown number. The gentleman on the other end of the line started asking me questions about our company and the recipe we use. I chatted to the men for about 10 minutes. Here's a small excerpt from that interview. I will also add links to the full interview plus a conversation they had about fried chicken prior to them calling me. Just to let you know, some of their show can involve some spicy language, so apologies in advance. Enjoy.
Righto, we're just ringing Grace's Perfect...
Hello?
Hello, is that Grace's Perfect Blend?
It is, yes.
Hello, it's Scott O'Bazza, the Fish, AP from NetFM in Sydney, Australia. How are you going?
Not so bad in yourself.
We're fabulously well. We've just spent the last 15 minutes discussing fried chicken because we're all obsessed by fried chicken. And I remembered somewhere along the way that your blend is the original, for want of a better term, and I'm not denigrating anyone here, but the original KFC recipe because Pat Grace's, or his great-grandfather or something, was a very good friend of the Colonel, and that's how it came about, and that's why you've got the fabulous Grace's Perfect Blend breading for fried chicken. Is that correct?
Okay, Pat Grace was my dad.
Okay.
So my name is Carl Grace.
Hello, Carl. I'm Scott.
Hey, Carl.
Hello, g'day, mate.
Sorry, what's your name again? And who is this live on air?
Yes, we are live on air. I forgot to mention that bit. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm Scott.
Right. Scott, how you doing, Scott?
Oh, fabulously well.
So you've been talking about fried chicken for the last while, and this is a talk show, is that correct?
Well, no, it's a music show, but we just forgot to play any
right.
music because we were obsessed by fried chicken.
I'd like to hear that you're obsessed by fried chicken. And whereabouts in Australia are you?
We're in Sydney.
All right, okay. So the situation is my dad, Pat Grace, was Irish.
Yes.
Born in North Tipperary, just about half an hour from Limerick City. Moved to Canada in the late 1950s and worked numerous jobs over the years, and then got into a sales rep job working for a food company and got to know about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Met Colonel Sanders one day, loved his food, said hello to him, and then tried to get a franchise for Ireland, which he subsequently opened in 1970. If you go and have a look at our YouTube channel, Grace's Perfect Blend, I've done a few videos of the last, starting in November up until March. There's 4 or 5 videos there telling my dad's story and how we got to come about having the recipe with Colonel Sanders.
We shall look at that.
We have a recipe
that's better.
We found after my dad died. That's how it is.
And it's a good recipe, I believe.
It's fantastic, and you can actually buy it in Australia now.
I've just looked at your website because I had it. I bookmarked it months and months and months ago, and I thought I've got to get round. And in fact, AP and I were only talking about this about 2 years ago, and we were going to get some, but it was just horrifically expensive. And at that stage, Australia wasn't on the map, so to speak.
AP is a KFC aficionado.
He's the expert on KFC.
I'm down in Melbourne, Carl. So I'm the Melbourne studio of NetFM, and I've got the KFC tracksuit, and I wear the bucket on my head.
He does wear a bucket on his head,
and the Elvis sunglasses.
Okay,
it's not a pretty sight, to be honest.
The AP character on NetFM is all about KFC.
And we suggested a few minutes ago that if we can get a hold of your recipe, we can then get AP to do an appraisal of it and tell us what he thinks.
So we're going to order some in a few minutes. We're going to go online and order some, and you'll be very kindly ship it out to us.
If you go to the Irish Butcher / I can't think of the link straight offhand, but the Irish Butcher in Sydney. And the guy's name is Shay Stanley. He's a really good guy, and he's our distributor for Australia.
Oh, fantastic! So, even better. We don't have to have it shipped over from Ireland. That's a bargain. That saved us a fortune.
Yeah, and we're working on plans for trying to make the product cheaper for Australia.
Oh, that's very kind of it. Well, there's a lot of Irish people here. They probably need it.
Is he in Sendai?
If you take a look at the YouTube channel, there's lots of information there. The videos that I've done, there's some cooking videos, But there's also a couple of other videos where I'm talking about the history of our company and the history of my dad and how we came about getting the recipe. So when Dad, after going back to 1970, my dad opened his first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant in Dublin, and it was actually not too far from where Shay Stanley grew up.
Oh.
And then my dad had several more shops in Dublin, Limerick and Cork in the 70s and 80s. He became very friendly with the Colonel Sanders. I mean, I was, myself and my sister are fortunate enough to have met Colonel Sanders.
Wow.
I have photos there. Yeah, 100%.
That's him. I mean, AP's just excited by this.
What was he like?
I was very young, so I'll be 50 later on this year. So when Colonel Sanders died, in 1980, I just turned 6.
Okay, that's pretty young.
He's in Roselle.
Roselle, even better. That's not very far from me. I know where Roselle is.
Stanley, the Irish butcher, is in Roselle, New South Wales.
Perfect. We found him.
Experience the Irish butcher. 32 connections on LinkedIn. I found him on LinkedIn.
Well done. Now, Carl, when you cook your recipe for the Grace's Perfect Blend, do you just deep fry it, or does it want to be pressure cooked?
It does. With the breading, you can if you're using fillets and tenders or goujons, as some people call them here in Ireland, they can be cooked shallow fried in a wok or a saucepan or a pan with just enough oil to cover the chicken, or you could pressure fry it or deep fat fryer. It doesn't matter. And without the bone, so a breast fillet or chicken tender without the bone should cook between 5 and 7 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's got to be at 175.
Yeah.
Because I do my own. I've actually created my own fried chicken recipe, and it's not bad. It's in fairness. I'll try yours.
Are you looking to buy a new white suit?
No,